We haven't spoken since the draft, and just want to get an overall opinion. What I want to know is, what is this draft and the way it was handled, what does it say about this new regime here in Berea?
Well, clearly they're getting along, and they sat down before they started and figured out, these are the type of players we want. They weren't trying to show that they were all that tricky, which I think helps. The one trade down was for 3 spots, from 41 to 44. And that actually enabled them to draft a guy I like very much in the 5th round, that Nick Harris, the center from Washington. So that was a really good move because they wanted Delpit anyway. The other one, where they went down from 74 to 88, they were in love with this guy Elliott, the pass rusher from defensive tackle from Missouri. That was their guy. I was hoping they would take Zach Bond, the linebacker from Wisconsin, there. But either there's something with the scheme that they're going to run with Joe Woods or whatever, but they kind of don't care about linebackers. Have you noticed that?
I did notice that, and I'm kind of surprised. Although certain positions change over the years. Tight end wasn't important either. Now everybody's got tight ends, or at least they're thinking about tight ends, and the Browns leading the way in that department.
Right, and that makes some sense because right now these tight ends are so athletic at 6'4" or 6'5", and they're really like big receivers. And they are a nightmare for a 5'10" cornerback to try to cover, and they tend to be too fast for a linebacker or some of the safeties. I mean, they create a lot of problems. That's why Gronkowski, Brady wanted him back when he went to Tampa. Those guys could be really good. If you think back to even Ozzie Newsome or Milt Moore, if you want to go way back, you create a lot of mismatch with those guys with the Browns in the old days when it wasn't all about tight ends. I do really like that fact that look, your coach likes tight ends. He uses tight ends well. And on top of it, I think your quarterback, who the year before had a pretty good year. I've forgotten Njoku was second on the team in receptions in 18 with 56 or whatever. He likes tight ends too.
You brought up a point at the beginning, which I totally agree with you. When you said they didn't go too fancy, they didn't try to be the smartest guy in the room. They just, for the most part, they let whatever fell to them, and they didn't try to get out of it. I mean, the NFL rewards you for whatever your position was. Why change fate? Just go ahead and take who they expect you to take.
And that might be a lesson that Paul-Depodesta learned too. This was his 5th draft, and while he's not saying, I really like Wills versus Wirfs or some of these other tackles, he was the one kind of the brainstormer. Do you trade down? How many picks do you assemble? All this kind of stuff. He may have picked up some things now over the years. Because remember, the last couple of drafts with Dorsey, I don't think DePodesta had much of anything to say about those.
Right, I agree.
So he just kind of sat back and watched. He was there in 2016, and remember, even in 2017, they just sat there at number 1. They took Myles Garrett. They actually traded up in the draft into the 1st round, and they took Njoku. But that was the draft also where they. I think they traded the number 12 pick that became Watson. So you could almost look at his progression as the mastermind of how you trading up and down, how he has changed.